Hi YouTube. Hi camera. I'm already starting this video badly. I wanted to post a video about my road trip back to California from Florida. I was there for like a short college stay. I was going to Full Sail University, also known as Full Sail or Real World Education, I think. It's pretty popular on YouTube, actually. You could find a whole bunch of videos from people going to that. So I was coming back from Orlando, and I had a car and everything shipped out there for me. And I didn't want to ship it back, so I just drove it, and it was quite an adventure. I started out in Orlando, Florida, like I said, and from there I stopped at Tampa, which is about 2 hours out from Orlando. I had to pick up my fiance from the airport, and then from there we headed straight off for the first hotel that we booked, and that was in New Orleans, 10 hours away from Tampa. And it was probably the most stressful I've ever been behind the wheel of a vehicle. Come Mississippi, we were actually in the eye of this horrible storm that I was getting warnings in Florida for it. I guess there's going to be like I don't know, some natural disaster of some sort. Tornado warning? But yeah, we ran into the ass end of it in Mississippi, pouring there. We couldn't hear the radio. The rain was hitting the car so hard. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of the car that I was driving. We should have probably died. Like, I was going 45 miles, maybe 45 miles per hour. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me. And this was like a 70-mile-per-hour highway. I don't know how fast other fuckers were going, but I was fucking scared. Every time I board a plane, because I've been on a lot of planes in the past couple of years. Every time I board a plane, before the plane takes off, I tell myself, like, this is it. I could die today. I always become very peaceful and very calm with that acceptance that I could potentially die today. Before I took off for the road trip, like the weeks leading up to it, to the date planned and everything, like each day, I would tell myself that, like, you might not survive this road trip. Every day I'd accept it, like, whatever. Like, if I die, cool beans, who cares? And when I was in the clusterfuck that was Mississippi, I was not calm or tranquil. Like, I was fucking scared. Like, there was no getting around it. No matter what I tell myself, I was fucking scared. And I guess that really means that my telling myself that in the plane would probably be stupid for any future goes. Eh. So, we gave ourselves a bit of time to play around in New Orleans because both he and I had always wanted to go there. He's like really into cooking, and one of his specialties is like Cajun food. Like, he'd already scoped out the restaurant we were gonna go see, or go to, and he was super excited about it. And of course, we hit up a voodoo shop over there. We got a really neat mask. Oh, I can't show it to you. No, I can't. Anyway, and then at like noon or so, we decided to take off, and we headed for our next hotel, which was in the heart of Texas, Junction, Texas. But I think it was another 10-hour drive from Louisiana to Texas. Junction is tiny. Junction is like a road with like a diner and like a gas station and a fucking spooky deli that had like fish bait in the fridge, like worms in the fridge next to the fucking milk, We did not spend a lot of time in Junction. Yeah, it was spooky there, but there were some pretty interesting people. We were in the only diner that was in this town, the Junction Diner, and there was some guy sitting a couple tables off from us. Like, God, we fucking walk in. It's obvious we don't belong. I mean, this looks like something from like a Wild West film, And two Californians, we were getting some weird looks to begin with. We kept to ourselves. We didn't want to get fucking shot or anything. There was this cowboy sitting a couple tables away, like, talking in like this great southern drawl, He's talking about how he was fucking following a bull for miles and miles, and like just slowly shooting away at this bull until he could like walk up to the bull and like put a bullet between its eyes, you know? Like, he was talking about fucking killing a bull while he was enjoying his breakfast with a table of other people, and like there was people down the other side of the diner that obviously knew him, and they were chiming in, and then like straight from this story about murdering this dying animal and killing it, you know. And then he goes on to talking about how good he's getting at bowling on his Wii, you know. It was pretty amusing, especially in that fucking accent. Yeah, we didn't stick around very long in Texas. It was really boring. Like, there's fucking nothing in Texas. Like, like, there's this big deal, I guess, about like recycling and stuff. I said that like I don't know what's recycling. Yeah, no, like everyone's all fretting about like recycling, and we're using up all of our resources, and we're dumping shit. We're not gonna have enough space for all of our garbage, and there is a lot of Texas that could hold some garbage, you know. And that's my option. I'd vote for Texas. We bolted from Texas as fast as we could, I think. And our next stop was in, I think, Phoenix, Arizona. I think. And that was probably the nicest hotel we'd had the entire time. But I think that was like 13 hours off from Junction, Texas to Phoenix, Arizona. Not really a lot happened on that drive in those 13 hours. Listened to a lot of Rollins spoken word and like Marilyn Manson. Of course, got to listen to some good music and comedy. And it was a quiet drive, except for getting stopped by New Mexico police and checking for immigrants like every couple miles. That was interesting. They weren't as very thorough as you'd think they'd be. Like, you'd think they'd at least ask for identification of some sort, and instead they just sort of peek in the window and like, Americans, and like, yeah, like, okay, go. Okay. It was a fun waste of time. We stopped in New Mexico, I think. One of the times we stopped at this really cool gas station that had like this huge store attached to it, and most of this store, if it wasn't like Native American type stuff, which is kind of creepy to me, but I mean, that's cool and all. I don't know, like just the dead things on the walls and like the porcelain dolls wearing the dead things is bizarre. And rocks and stuff. But other than that stuff, there was also like an amazing selection of firecrackers and fireworks. So of course the fiance had to score some fireworks to annoy the neighbors with. And yeah, we smuggled those into California. From Phoenix, I think it was like another 13-hour drive. We had to drive through LA. I did not want to do that, but it wasn't so bad actually. If you drive in Orlando, Florida, you can drive fucking anywhere. People are stupid there. By the time I got home, like, we got home so late. Like, months later, after all this, because that was only a couple days. The road trip was only a few days. And, like, months later, I was looking into seeing what my bank account was doing so I could do some shopping. I noticed that somebody had charged $200 to my fucking account. And the only way they could have gotten my card number is through one of the hotel stays. So some asshole from a hotel got my card number and bought $200 worth of fucking like World of Warcraft hours on my tab. I got it all worked out and I got the money refunded. And through all the trouble, though, I'd say it was all really worth it. I mean, got some fun stories to tell, got to experience a lot, and my fiance and I had a blast, I think. It was probably a really good test of our relationship, too. If you can tolerate 13 hours of someone, like 13 hours in a car, in a fucking metal box with someone, you fucking marry that person because there is no one else out there for you. That is the lesson I think I learned from the whole trip. I'm fucking marrying this guy. no one else. I could not have dealt with anybody else.